Alaikum and hello everyone. This is Dr. Qusay Faisal with you, and this is today is the last lecture regarding in topics of English for computer science. Today topics is about programming and low-level system. For the grammar, we are going to go for linking word. Okay. Actually, these topics have been explained last week, but it was in the class. And due to few people who attend the lecture, that's why I am going to do it online. Regarding programming, first of all, there is a list or there are a number you have to follow when you create a program. So first step, when you create a program, you have to analyze and define what's the problem do you need to solve. So you have a problem. For example, you want to print paper. So that's the problem. So you have to analyze what is the thing you do need to bring. You do need to bring a computer. You do need to bring a printer. You have to connect it to the electricities, and you have to link the computer to printer. So you do need printer cable. So all of this. So you have to analyze the problem, identify the problem, okay, to solve it. So what you have to bring to solve this problem. Then after you analyze and identify what's the problem, you have to design the program. So the design we call it a flowchart. That's today's topics. So today's topics we are going to focus on how to do the flowchart in a programming. So before you design, you have to analyze. Then you have to analyze. Then you design. You design. By that you look like you giving a milestone to your program. So what you are going to do first, what you are going to do next, something like that. Thus, a flowchart is like a shape. You are going to think what you have to do to solve this problem. Then, after you draw the flowchart, you arrange your mind. What you do first, second, next on flowchart, you are going to translate this flowchart to code by write it using code. Could be any code, C++, Java, MATLAB, all these are code, and you are going to translate this flowchart to code. Then after you write the code, you have to test it. We call it debug. So test it, or we call it debug. So based on test, there will be one of three types of error. It's going to be happen. I am going to talk about this error after that. So first of all, I'm going to talk about the flowchart, the flowchart shapes, and then after that, I am going to talk about error when you test the program. Definitely, when you write a code, definitely you must have error. There is no, rare when you write the program without any error, unless you copy. So, but when you write any program, you think about it. So should be error. One of the three types of error is going to be happen. Then, if the program tested and working fine, you are going to document it. Then you are going to before you put it in the market, before you sell it, you have to bring some people and tell them this program is going to do this. So just work with it. They will work with it. Maybe within 1 week, they'll have some problem. One of them maybe have a problem in, he says the program is too long. I want to do these things. Another one, he says, okay, this thing is not clear. You have to clarify it. So you take these ideas and you make the program clearer. You make it shorter, maybe shorter in some tasks. Okay. After you do all of this, you obtain the feedback from users. Then you could sell it. So these three types. By the way, in exam, I might ask you. For example, I might ask you. I will uh, you know do mess with the number. I make number 7 in number 3 and 3 in number 1 and 2 in number 5 and do this mess. And I will tell you, based on your idea about programming stage, arrange this one from what you do first to the last. So you have to know, you have to memorize this one. Actually, it's not memorize, it is understandable. When you have any program, you want to write it, you have to analyze it first, then you design it, draw the flowchart. After flowchart, translate the flowchart to code, and then you have to test it. After you test it, if it's working fine, that's testing. So there are definitely one of the errors going to be happen. So you have to solve the errors and make it work fine. Then you document it and train users how to use it. After 1 week or 2 weeks, you get feedback from users. Then you work with these feedbacks, try to work to make it better, faster, shorter. Then you develop it to the market. So that's the how to write a program. That's the stage. These are the stage how to write the program. This is one of the questions may come to the final. This is general knowledge. Now, after that, I said after analysis, so what you have to do, you have to design the program. You design it using the flowchart. Actually, flowchart it have something we call it symbols, some standard symbols to draw the flowchart. So these are the standard symbols. So this is for start or stop. So at the beginning of any flowchart, you should have one of these symbols, and at the end of any flowchart, so you should have this symbol. So you write this symbol as a start, and at the end you write it at stop or end program. So you should have one of these. Then you have input. So if you have a character like integer x and y, so to define some symbols, so you put these things. And if you have operation, for example, x equal to I plus y, z equal to x plus plus. So if you have the loops or something like that, this is for operation. Now after that, when you reach to decision for yes and no, you use this symbol for decision. Then when you have, for example, 3 or 4 inputs and 1 output, you use this connector, we call it. This is to connect multiple input, 1 output. Okay, not multiple output, only 1 output. So it is connect multiple input to 1 output. Okay, so this symbol we are going to use to this one. Now in exam, I ask you, I must give you these shapes, and I tell you what is the name of this shape. Okay, so this is start or stop, this is input or output, and this is operation or process. You have operation or process, you use this design. This is for decision, and this is for connector. I might give you these shapes. I tell you based on your information about the flow chart, so give the names of this shape. Or I might ask you draw 3 symbols using in the designing the flow chart and drawing the flow chart, and identify them. So you just, this for start or stop, this is for decision, this is for operation. Any of these 3 symbols, you draw them, just basic drawing. Okay, it's not difficult, and write the name of a process, name of the symbols. Okay, so that's for this one. Now then after that, I told you about testing. So after decision, designing the program using the flowchart, then coding, you have to write the code using one of a program, then you test it. When you test, there is an error. So these types of error. But before I go for types of error, I think I give example for flowchart. Yes, this is example of designing a flowchart. Now, then I will come back for testing for error. So here example, draw flowchart. To input initial cost for item. So you have item, so the program should ask you, okay, so you have to identify, for example, input X, I, Y, Z, so whatever, and you are going to to put this input x. So this is when you put x, input initial value x, so the system will give you x equal to and is waiting for your answer. Okay, now here there is a condition. So here, if cost equal or bigger, so this is condition. For condition, the simple for condition, so this is the input for initial value. Input cost c. So when you run the program, you design program, run it. So here the debug, the answer for this one will give you c equal to and is waiting for your initial value to input. So here, then after that is going to process on your input for initial value, which you are going to put it. So if cost equal or bigger than 500, now if the cost, now this is condition. To draw the condition, now this is the shape to draw the condition. If the cost equal or bigger than 500, so here, when you run c equal to and is waiting to your answer. If you put 500 or 600, so here we are going to put condition equal, greater, bigger or equal than 500. So the condition is 500. If it's yes, we'll add tax equal to 15%. So we are going to do, so tax equal to 15%. So I am going to take c, whatever value. So is it 500, 600? So if it's bigger, so I am going to multiply it by 15%. 15% is 15 divided by 100 is 0.15. So I am going to multiply it by 0.15. So if it's tax, the value which you input is 500, 600, 700, whatever value. So it's going to multiply it by 0.15, which is 15%. Okay, and you have to add it. So I have to make total cost equal to the value which you input, which is c, okay, plus the tax which I calculated. Okay, so that's the process. So because here, if cost is this one, it will add tax 15. So I'm going to calculate the tax and add it to the value which you, because it's add, so plus the value which you added, which is which I put it as initial as a c. You could put it x, y. So if this is any initial value, I introduce it. But cost, because this cost first letter is c, so I identify it as a c. But it could be any letter. Okay? Otherwise, we'll add tax of 4%. So if it's yes, so it will be c times 0.15. If it's no, so if you put the value here 400, 300, so tax will be 4%. So I'm going to make tax equal to c times how much 4%? 4 divided by 100, it will be 0.04. So I multiply, for example, 4 times 0.04. So that will be tax. Then what else? Will be add. So the results from here, it will be add to the initial value which you put it. If you put 400, so I will add 400 plus the tax, which is 400 times 0.04. So that's how it will work. So then the print out the total cost. So I am going to, because both of them, so if it's less than 500 or bigger than 500, is going to be added to the initial value. So what I am going to do, I am going to take the tax, the value of tax of this one, whether this one or this one. So total cost equal to c plus the tax either 15% or 4%. Okay, so then after that, print out the total cost. So this is the simple to print out the total cost. After that, end. Now after I do the flowchart, after the processing the flowchart, then I'm going to write the code. The code should be after this one, because why? I simplify. So if you use for example Visual Basic, so you start with include stio.h, then you start integer, okay, c, you put initial value integer c. Then after that I am going to make as a loop, if c is greater, or if c between two brackets greater or equal than 500. Okay, you are going to write this loop. Then you put else, E-L-S-E, you put this loop. Okay, so tax equal to this loop, else tax equal to this loop. Then after that you write, you go out of the loop, end the loop. Then you go to total cost equal to C plus the tax, because tax is calculated inside loop already, inside if loop. So you are going to get out of this loop is the value of tax. You add it to the C, which is initial value, you put it. Then you are going to print. Okay, yeah, there is print between two bracket, total cost is, and then you put what is the value. You put between two semicolons, total cost. You close the semicolon, then you end the program. So the final results, it will be printouts. So first of all, it will ask you initial cost C and is waiting your answer. If it's 500, 400, 600, you put the value. It's going to process it and give you total cost is, and then he put the value of total cost, which is adding the cost you put plus the tax. So that's system before you write the code. This is the flowchart, and this will be the third chapter in your final year thesis. You have to write the flowchart. Okay, you have to write the flowchart before designing the code. Now, during the designing the code, when you run the program after you write the code, you will have error. There are actually three types of error. I am going to come back to the three types of error. So I am going to read this one. It's very difficult to write program. Of course, not easy. So you need to have some train and some expertise. So for first time it will be difficult, of course. But if you train on program, at final year you should be perfect. And when you work with this course, when you work with any program, so you will be the best, with experience. So you'll be perfect with that experience. But of course, when you get experience, you get the best. Okay. So in the beginning, it's difficult to write program. Even you are expert. When you write a program for first time, definitely you should have some error. So there are three types of error could happen. That's the most common errors when you write the program. Thus, settle out from the easiest error to the most difficult error. The easiest error called system error. Then there is another error which is little bit more difficult than system error, okay, but easiest than the logic error, called syntax error. The most difficult error is logic error. Okay, I am going to mention why it's most difficult. Because logic error, the program is going to be run, but when you run the program, it will give you some wrong result. So that's the most difficult stuff. So when give you wrong result, but if the program is run, so you have to follow where is your mistake. So you have to check operation by operation. So that's why logic error is the most difficult one. But the easiest one is the system error. System error is error effect on your computer or component. For example, you have a printer, okay, and you want to print a paper. So the printer actually is going to be run by a software. Software is actually a program written in CD or in CD software, and you install it in your computer. You are going to run, if you want to print, actually you are going to run this software. So this software have been written, okay, but there is no paper come out from printer. Why? So the system is going to give you error. So system is going to give you message here. It's going to give you print out message. Maybe it will tell you to, for example here, when you write a program or which needs to access to printer, but there is no print out. So maybe the cable is going to, so why is easy? Because the computer is going to give you message. Please check the cable connect to the printer. Or maybe it's going to give you message, another message. Please check out the printer paper, may run out printer paper. So that's easy because the system is going to give you message why the program is not function. Okay, so that's the easiest type of error. So to solve it, very easy. Check the cable of printer, or maybe check the printer, maybe switch off, the printer switched off, or maybe the power cable for printer is not linked to the main electricity, or maybe paper run out papers. So all this is, you could see it by message. So that's why it's very easy error. That's just example. So this is, we call it system error. Another error is syntax error. So that's happen. So it's mistake in the program language. Example for that, you write a program, okay, but you miss in type of program. For example, when you write loop, use if then else. Okay, you did mistake in writing else, ELSE, but you write it ELES. Else you write it ELES. So this is mistake. So this is, we call it syntax error. When you run the program, but the program is going to be run and will give you there is error in line number 4 or in line number 5. So it is going to give you the line number. So you go to the line number. So by syntax error, you are going to go to the line number and easily you are going to check how you wrote the code. So the code you wrote it, for example, ELES. So you are going to correct it. Oh, I did mistake in this writing this code. It should be ELSE, else, if else. Or maybe when you print, you type, instead of writing PRINT, you write PRNIT. So this looks like as a print, okay? But when you run it, the program is going to give you, okay, there is a mistake. It's going to give you a, mistake in line number 10, for example. So you go to check in line number 10, you are going to check how you wrote it. So you find it, PRNIT should be PRINT. So you must be you must be correct the mistake. So, and easy to be correct. So syntax error is little bit difficult than system error. System error is going to give you a message exactly what's the mistake, what's the problem. Paper run out, printer is switched off or not connected to the computer, something like that. It's going to give you a message. Here is going to give you a message where is the line which have a mistake. So you have to check on the line which have a mistake. So this is also easy, but it's little bit difficult than syntax error. Now the most difficult error, and that's the biggest one, the logic error. Logic error is mistake in logic which allow the program that's run. So the program is going to be run with no problem, okay, and it's going to give you results. But the thing is, when you think about the results, you find there is wrong in the results. It shouldn't be happen like that. So, but no work properly. Example, program is running but give you wrong in the results. So as I mentioned. So to solve that, that's the difficult part of error. You have to check all the processing operation. You have to check all the loops. So if you have sometimes some program you have 4 or 5 loops. So you have to check the function of loop by loop. Okay, do practice loop by loop individually. So until you find which loop you did a mistake. And that's the most difficult error. Okay, because program is running and give you results, but the results is wrong. So that's in order to correct it. So you have to check the program, all the program, from the first loop to the last loop. And you have to find what's the results. So these are the 3 types of errors which could happen. Then after that, that's the connect problem. So I give exercise here, just practical exercise. You have a problems here, and you have solution for these problems. Okay, in exam, this is general knowledge. I might ask you something like this in exam. So this is problems and connect. So this in exam, if I give you something like this, so I will tell you to link problem list with the proper solution. So to answer this, so for example, you link 1 with the B, C or C, and you link 2 with G or H, something like that. So you write it something like this. This is the key answer. Let's go through, let's go for this. So connect computer to telephone line. So telephone line, that's to connect internet, modem. Nowadays there is wireless, no need for that. But for healthier one is to connect to the telephone line for the internet. So that's for modem. If you read and look, this is I answered 1G. If you see G, install modem. So if you want to install modem, connect it to the line. That's to connect internet. Identify items for pricing. That's when you go to market. So there is a code, and you are going to use barcode to identify the item price. Okay, there is a barcode on each item. It have something like lines, and this is give you the item price and where is made. So I answer here 2 and I. If you read, you find it. I is the solution. Use a barcode label. So this is barcode label to identify the price. Add extra facilities of computer. Add extra facilities of computer. This is you do need to put extension slots. Okay, extension slots, that's to put, for example, extra graphics card, or extra, for example, extra RAM, for example, to have larger size. So this is extension slot or extension available on the install already in the motherboard. So when you open computer, you find the slots empty on the motherboard. You put, for example, graphics card, okay, or you put RAM. So this one you have to use one of these. If you read them, so 3, I answer is F. See here, F. Install expansion card. Okay, something like graphic card or RAMs or whatever. 4, get more file storage space. To get more file storage space, this one you have to use a flash memory. You have to use, for example, extra, for example, hard disk. Okay, extra hard disk to get more size. Okay, so or maybe you do format to the computer. So this is, but if you do format, you lose your information. So here is not mentioned about losing the information. So the proper way is you get CD, you get flash memory. So this is get more size. Okay, for space. So here 4, I answer here H. So if you read, you find fit a bigger hard disk. See here, fit a bit bigger hard disk. This is the solution. Find syntax error. As I mentioned here, syntax error, that's if you have an error, if you write a program and you have error in the language. So that's syntax error. If you see here, find syntax error. 5 is B. What is B here? Use debug. Okay, debug. Because you are running the program, it will give you debug. It will give you message. The mistake, the debug means it will give you message. That's the mistake in line number 10 or line number 11. So this is debug. Avoid making the surface of the scratch surface, or making marking of the surface of the CD. Of course, if you mark on CD by touching the CD from the writing area, from the middle, okay, so that's to make fingerprint or make scratch on the CD. You may damage the CD and the CD cannot be used. So to solve this problem, you have to hold the CD from the edge, so you will not make scratch or you will not make fingerprint, so you could use the CD. Now here 6 is, I answer it is G. So if you look here, if you go to G, hold it by edge, same as I mentioned to you. Improve the speed of computer. How you improve the speed of your computer? By getting extra, for example, extra RAM, or by getting bigger cache memory. So extra facilities. Thus it will improve the CD. So if you look for 7, I answer it is here is C. So this is C. Add more memory. So add more memory, add more RAMs actually, not memory. Memory RAM, I mean here. So if you add more RAM, so that's the increase the speed of your computer. So this is to improve the speed of your computer. Avoid system error. System error, that's the easiest way of the error. I answer it here is 8A. Write a code to check the peripherals. Peripherals, that means the component. Could be printer, could be fan, punket. Could be anything you link it to the computer. Write a code to check the peripheral or component is present before data sent. Okay, so it's available before data sent. Same as a printer. Before we send the data, there is a program already is written by when you install the printer software is already written. This one. So this program will give you a message. This is the system error. Prepare a new disk for use. How to prepare when you buy a CD or you buy a flash memory? First thing, before you use it, you have to do format. So that's the solution. Prepare it, you have to do format before you use it. So this is 9. I answer 9 as a D. D that we see here. A, B, C, D. So format the disk. So before you use any disk new, you have to format it to get it ready, make it ready. Transfer information between computer. So I answer 10 is E. So if you check E, use removable disk. So transfer information from disk to disk. Use removable disk. Use a flash memory. If there is internet, use internet. What call networking. Use networking group to link the information from computer to computer. So if there is a flash memory, use a flash memory. If you use a removable disk, CD could be. So this is CD as a removable disk, flash memory removable disk. All these are removable disk. So these are general knowledge. You might have such these questions. Link the problem list with its own solution. So these are the key answer, and that's how you write it. For example, 1G 2I. So that's very easy to write it in your paper. Now let's go for level system. Let's go for levels. Before going to today grammar, which is linking word, okay, I am going to explain or to put the common words which is mostly used in our speaking language. Okay, if you go to talk, you are going to use it commonly. Okay, so burn down. So if there is a fire, if there is office maybe destroyed by fire, so here burn down. Give up. Give up, that's when you are going to go in processing something and you feel that these things is not going to finish. For example, when you start your study, for example, study master degree, let us say. At the middle of master degree, you find it is too difficult, okay? And then you leave the study. So this is give up. Normally, when we start anything, try our best to don't give up. Just continue. So that's give up when you start something and at the middle or before the end, you feel that things is a block. It will not finish. So you leave everything. So that's give up. You lose lots if you give up. Don't give up. Come cross. So if you do something, okay, and there is something else, you find it. This is come cross. Something else come cross your work. Okay, come across. So something coming, not expected. Not expected. But you do it with your work. Okay, you do it in parallel with your work. Keep up with, okay, when you are following some information, okay, and you want to know what is the update, so this is keep up with. That's also keep up with, that's mean update. Come up, this word, when you reach to results, you come up with conclusions, okay. Pick up, that's when you hold something. Pick up when you hold something. Divide up, when you have a program, you have to divide it to small loops, okay, for solution. Put out, that's when you, for example, there is a fire, so you put out the fire. When you turn off something, so you put out. Find out, so that's when you do searching. When you do search, you have to find out, you know, close from the end, you have to reach to the conclusion. Find out, that's when you do some search. Take up, so this is take up. Everyone knows what means take up. So these are the most, you know, words, and I found it is very useful, okay. Before we start our grammar for today. Now here, if fire engine doesn't arrive on time, okay, the house will, what's happened? The house, so of course it will burn down. So if the fire engine, the car of turn off the fire, didn't reach at the time, so what happened to the house? The house all will burn down. If the computer, your computer which work in, have a water, the water with electricity, it will burn down your computer. It will make a fire, burn down your computer, okay. So you should be careful, don't make water close to your computer while it's working, okay, because the electricity with water, it will make fire and it will burn down your computer. So that's example for burn down, okay. I subscribe to magazine too. So when you subscribe to magazine, you have some, so you have the gap here. Development and program. So program, if you have a program, so you have to divide the program into small pieces. So you subscribe to magazine, so you have to find out some solution. You have to find some solution to to divide your program to small pieces. So I'm going to choose to divide up. See here, sorry, you have to follow the magazine, what, to get knowledge, to search for development here, development for program, to find out what is the recent development for program. So what's the solution for this one? Sorry, is to keep up with the latest development, okay, for the program. I give answer here. Divide up, this is to break here in programming, you have to break it to small piece. So divide up the code. That's the divide up, okay. If a site take too long to download, so what's happened if you take too long to download? So you will get fed up, and then finally you will leave this one, okay, if it's take too long. That's why we make the site to make it short or fast. If it's too long, you leave the site. So what's the one of these things here? So a people gap and go another site, so we'll leave this site. So if something to leave this site, so is give up. So if you see here, the answer is give up, okay. In the hardware class, there is gap about things inside computer. In hardware class, what you find out, what you are going to see, you are going to learn about For example, keyboard, mouse, what is inside the computer. So we are going to, I did mistake and I answered, I find out. So the answer here is find out, it should be. See here, that's the answer, find out. Okay, we are going to find out about inside the computer. People may, there is gap, your website by chance when they are browsing the net. So when they are browsing the net, okay, so will they search for your website, or it's coming by the way? So it's coming by the way. So is come across. So they search for the website, and by the way they find your website, come across your website, and they search it. So should be come across. Here, come across. Other one, if you get the answer right, the fire engine, if you get the answer right, the fire engine, there is a cap, the fire. So if you get the answer right, the fire engine, gap the fire. What they will do with the fire? So what they do with the fire? They should turn off the fire. Okay, is there turn off? Put out. So should be put out. There is no turn off. If there is turn off the fire. But here put out. So if there is put out. So put out. So we will put out the fire. When you test program, if you do testing on program, different kind of a problem you will find it. So different kind of problem you find it. So when you test program, not give up, not cross, you will find it. Come up, that means find. You will find it, so it will come up. So here it should be come up. So this is come up. So here, that's my answer. Reading about new developments. Okay, there is a gap. A lot of downs, free time. So reading about a new development, so that it will cost you, or it will take a lot of time if you are reading about the things. So something like cost you, or it will take, that's the answer. It's not give up, it's not so there is, okay, take up. So that's the answer, should be take up. So here is number 9, take up. He tries to, there is a gap, a copy of Dr. Ali's journal. So what he tries to, so he should take a copy of, or he should print out copy of Dr. Ali journals when he can. So he tries to take a copy. There is something like take a copy or print out. So this is burn down, so no. So not find out, so not put out, so not divide up, so it should be pick up. So pick up is a clause from print out. So he should take a paper, he printed out and take it to discuss it with his supervisor maybe. Okay, so this is should be pick up, that's the answer. So these are general knowledge. For the common words are usually used in the language, in speaking language. Now let's come for today grammar. I'm not going to go for this one you could have a look at it, but let's we come to today grammar, which is linking word. There is another name for linking word, which is conjunction. These are comes between the sentences, to link between sentences, or come to elaborate about some sentences, elaborate and simplify another sentences. For example, if you want to express word to express about similarity, equally, likely, similarly, and corresponding. In exam, I might ask you, please select two words for similarity. I will give you two gaps, بوشایی یک بوشایی دو. And I will give you, for example, multiple choice question. I will give you something like 4 or 5 words. You select between these 4 or 5 words, 2 words. For example, I will give you however, equally, likely, for example, also, and because of. So you should choose likely and equally, or similarly and equally. Why? Because these words, it's for similar, expression for similarity. Equally, likely-wise, similarly, and correspondingly. These words is expressed about similarly. Okay. This is when you write article, nice article, as a report for your manager. You are going to use, for example, similarly. So you are going to talk about, for example, methodology, one of the methodology, and then you want to talk about another methodology which is similar to this methodology. This method, for example, the other method is similarly work with this method. Okay. But it have something extra. It have some extra definition or extra something extra. So you could use but as well. So similarly is to identify something which is equal to something else. Methodology equal to another methodology. You are going to use it in your final year thesis to express about some work or some issue. Okay. So similarly, similar word. So you could use equally, likely, or likely-wise, similarly, correspondingly. So this is expression about similarly. There is another expression here to express about summary. So at the end of your work, before you reach to the conclusion, you have to summarize your words. Summarize it. You put it in a conclusion, you put it in conclusion style. So the command in conclusion, this is as a summary. To conclude, okay, in a brief. So in brief, so you talk one brief on all your projects. So this is, you are going to give summary. To summarize. Also, there is another expression word. We could use thus. If you use it here, thus, another, so thus, thus to express about conclusion. So this word here, thus. However, it's not mentioned here, so no need to write it. But thus is one of the expression word to summarize as summary. Okay, thus, thus. So these words may come in the example and final exam. Words to express about summary, and I will give you 4 or 5 words. Halab Jardin, 2 words from the 5 words, something like that. Okay. Summary. Another one, to express about contrast. That's when you do compare between two things, and you prefer some sentence, you prefer it on other sentence. Okay, so because something or some sentence have advantage. Okay, in contrast, these things have this, so you give advantage. Okay, so when you compare two things, one, it have advantage on other. Okay, the second sentence have advantage on the sentence before the contrast expression. So the words is instead, so using this instead of this. Okay, because this one have this advantage. Conversely, using this, conversely than this. Okay. On the contrary, okay. So on opposite, which mean on opposite. On contrary, which mean on opposite. So this is weak. This is this is not good. This is very bad. In contrary, using this, it will give you better this. It will give you advantage of this. So contrary, this is comparing two things. So contrast means comparing two things. One of the things have advantage on the other things. Instead of using this instead of this. Okay, conversely, in contrast, on the contrary, in contrast, in compression, in compression. So when you're comparing two things, okay, one good, one bad, in compression. So these are examples for this. You have to read the examples. So here examples are giving to you, okay. So basically you could read it, okay. I give you the slides presentation. I uploaded to you yesterday on Google Classroom, so you should find it. Now another expression word is contrast. I said it. Another expression word is giving example. So you use such as, namely, all these things. So here, for example, for instance. So these are examples how to use these words. As a follow. There are as a follow, and you put laboratory with laptop with $500, printer 100. So when you're talking about examples for cost, okay, the cost will be as follows, and you give examples for cost. So this is to give example, namely. So when you mention 3 or 4 names, namely is this. So called, and you give the names, examples for the names, okay. So these are examples. I'm giving to you examples for each one of words used, okay. So this is expression for examples, okay. Another things which come as a linking word. Another name of linking word is conjunction word, using another or other. One you are going to use another, one you are going to use other. Another is an other, so become other, another. So when you have you are going to talk about singular, about single word, okay. You use another. When you are going to talk about plural, okay, many ones, okay, many things, so you are going to use other, not another. Example for that. Which one is wrong? So this one. Example for that. Which one is wrong statement of this? 1, 2, 3. I don't like this one. Show me another thing. So when you are going to talk about one, about single. So for single, you are going to talk about single, not show me another things. Show me another thing. You are going to talk about single. So for single, when you are going to talk about single, what you use? Use another. So show me another thing. You cannot show me other thing. Is wrong, because you are going to talk about single. I don't like this one. Show me other things. Now here is S, okay. So this is also correct. Why? Because it's S. Show me other things. Show me many than this one, 2 or 3 than this one. Show me other things, because it's plural, so you are going to use other. So this is right. The first one is right. Second one is right. Let me go for the last one. I will read the others books, okay. Now I will read others books, because there is S here, so this should be plural, so should be other. So this is correct. Show me other books is correct, but because there is no others books, this S does make this sentences is wrong. I will read this. I will read the other. Okay, other is correct, but it should be not others. There is no others. Show me other books, or show me another book, not S. Okay, it could be show me another book. So if you use show me others, if you use show me others S, there is no S. Show me others books, so this is wrong. Or show me other book, not S, this is wrong. So now here, if I write here, I'm going to write here example. This is correct, okay. But if this one was like this, I will read this one. Show me other book is wrong. Why is wrong? Because this one for plural, other text plural, should me show me other books, okay. So that's another example. I will not go for this, okay. But I just showing you example where you use other and another. So if you have sentence or word after this one is a plural, so use other. If it's you are going to talk about single, okay, so use another, okay. But be careful, it's not s. There is no s. So this is mistake because there is s here. Now let's go for other slides, okay. When you are going to use any and some, okay. Any come with question, okay. Do you have any question? Or when you are going to talk about negative. So when you are going to talk about question or negative, you are going to use any. While you use some with affirmative statement. So if you are going to talk about affirmative just means you are going to talk about definite, something definite. Example for that: I want some eggs. I want some eggs. So this is affirmative. Is this negative? There is negative. If I say I don't want, if you say I don't want, so you should use any. I don't want any eggs. But because it's affirmative, I want, so you have to put some. I want some eggs, okay. Do you, now here there is a question. Because this question, automatically with blind eyes I'm going to use any. So do you want any eggs? You cannot say do you want some eggs. Some, you cannot use it. Why? Because this is a question. So some, maybe it sounds like correct. Do you want some eggs? It sounds like correct, but officially in grammar this is wrong. So if you put here some, it sounds right. Okay, do you want some eggs? So it sounds right. And commonly, you know, when you talk in, you know, in not in grammar language, so it sounds like okay, it sounds right. But officially when you write it, this is wrong. Why? Because this one is a question. Because it's a question, you cannot use some. You have to use any. Okay, grammatically is wrong, but it sounds like right. Okay, do you want some eggs? It looks like okay, but it's not. It's wrong. Do you want any eggs? Okay, because this is a question. Here I don't, because it's negative, so you use any. I don't want any eggs. So this is definitely, you cannot say I don't want some eggs. Some eggs, this is wrong. Because it's negative, you have to use any. I don't want to use any eggs. Now another things when you use because of and because. Okay guys, this is very important, and there are lots of us, okay, always doing mistake. Okay, when you are going to use because and where you are going to use because of. Okay, so because and because of, those are two linking words, have similar meaning, but there is a condition when you are going to use. Both are same meaning, no different in meaning, but there is a condition, there is a grammar. Same like any and some, there is a grammar. Both have same meaning, but it have a grammar. So this one used for negative and question, this is used for affirmative. Now here there is a grammar for this one, because and because of. Okay, the grammar for this expression, you use because, you have to put a statement. If you use because, you put a statement. You put verb plus, you put subject plus verb. Okay, subject, I, we, me, he. So you put subject. Okay, plus verb, is, was. Okay, plus object. So you put full sentence after using because. If you use because of, you have to put noun. For example, you put Omar, Ammar, Hannah, Hilyan, Hannah. So you put noun, not necessarily like names. You could put another noun like rain, train, car. So all these are noun. Okay, so you should use noun, not sentence. If you use statement, you put because. So if you don't use statement, you use noun, car, train, names. So all these you use because of. Example for that: we couldn't play tennis. Okay, we couldn't play tennis because of the rain. Okay, noun, because there is a rain. Okay, now if there is a subject plus verb, is or was, or plus object, so you use because. Why we use because of? Because there is a noun after that, which is rain. Now we couldn't play tennis. Okay, so because, so here the subject it, because it, and the verb is was, because it was raining. The object is raining because it was raining. So this is, we use because. You cannot because of it was raining. So it will be, even it sounds not nice. It sounds because it was, because of it was raining. No. So because it was raining. But if you want to use because of, you put just the object, just the noun. Because of rain. That's it. Tawab. Because of rain. Because of the rain. Okay. So no need to use because. You use just because of if it was noun. So that's the difference. I think there is examples for that I put for you later on after this. So when you use each, okay, this is each one of the conjunction or linking word expression. There is a formula: each plus singular word plus a statement. Or if you want to use each of, there is each and there is each of. Use a plural word if you are going to talk about plural. If you want to use singular, so you don't put off. If you are going to talk about many things, so you use of. Okay, so example for that: each one. So here we didn't use of. Each one has a to do his homework. So this is, I'm talking about individual, about single. Each one, so about single, has to do his homework. This is about each one person. So this is single. Okay. So if I'm going to talk about you, and you are a plural, so maybe you are 5 or 6. Each of you guys, so this is each of you guys, because I'm talking about plural, has to do his homework. This is also correct. Each of you guys. So each of you people, each of you students, plural. Because I'm talking about your plural, so use each of. Okay. Each room has chair. Okay. Each room has a chair, because this is room. Each of rooms has a chair, because when I talk about rooms, so you use each of. Okay. Each one of these. So this is, I'm talking about singular, but there is no example about plural. But I give you here. If I'm going to tell about rooms, so I have to use each of. Each of rooms has a chair. So if it's rooms, more than one room, so use each of. But because there is one room here, so each room. So that's for singular. Okay, talking about singular. Each one of this, each one of, see here I used of. Each one of, or you could say each of these, no need for of. You could use it. This one is optional. You could use something like that. Each of these rooms. Why I used of here? Because I talked about these rooms. I talked about plural here. So I used each of. Each of these rooms, or it's possible to put each one of these rooms, is same. No difference in the meaning. But I prefer each of. I like to make it each of, not each one. Each of these rooms has a chair. Each one of these rooms is possible, has a chair, is correct, there is no mistake. Each of, see here, here is mentioned here. Each of these rooms have a chair. And now it's mentioned. So it's written as a second option. So here you could say I prefer to write this one here. I like this one. This is something extra. Anything extra, normally keep your writing, is better to keep your writing simple, as much word as possible, with biggest expression as possible. So as simple, as less, and more tense with the expression. Nice. Okay, something like that. It will be more preferable, you know, outside, here and outside. So make your words, your sentences as short as possible, as strong as possible. Now here, ever, ever means at any time, and never. Okay, it looks like never is for negative. Okay, ever, that's for affirmative. Okay, and never is for negative as well. Okay, same like we talked just a few slides ago. We talked about when you talk about negative and affirmative. I think any and some. We talked about any and some. So when you have negative or question, you use any. When you have affirmative, use some. Here is similar. When you're using ever and never, have you? So here I'm going to talk about question. Okay, so have you ever? When you talk about question, you use ever. Have you ever seen snake in your life? For me, yes, I saw snake, and I hold a few snakes, by the way, when I went to Malaysia during my PhD, master and PhD study. Okay, so have you ever? So here use ever. So I'm talking about question. Have you ever? Here I'm talking about negative. When you are going to talk about negative, use never. Okay. When you talk about question, use ever. Have you ever seen snake in your life? Have you ever play with tiger? Have you ever seen a crocodile in your life? So these are question. Okay. But when I'm talking about negative, you use never. For example, I have never heard about, for example, I have never heard about give any word about these things. Okay, I have never heard about these things, and you know, you talk about some subject. I have never seen. Okay, I have never seen a snake in my life. So this is one of usage of linking word, ever and never. Ever when you talk about question, during question. Never when you talk about negative. Okay. Still. Okay. If you want to use still, there is a grammar to write still. Okay. You have to write subject. Okay. Before still. Then you add that verb. Subject could be he, she, it, we, they. So example verb that he. Then there is, you put still in the middle, and then you put verb, is, was, there. So he still here lives. That means he still is living. Okay, so he still, okay, live in Sulaimania. Present continuous, that's for present continuous. So you should put be. So he is, so is, was, there. He is still waiting the train. Okay, that means maybe he have been something like 5 minutes waiting for train, and he's still waiting the train. That's for present continuous. Now we have more exercise about that. Although although, even though, in spite and despite. These are used linking between two contrasts. Contrasts, that mean, I explained what mean contrast expression. Here the contrast expression. Contrast. Okay, contrast. So this is contrast in state, government. So you are going to link between two words of contrast. Okay, so even though, although. So that's when you are going to use this linking word. You cannot use however and you have a contrast word. You know, you are going to compare between two sentences. You cannot use however. Okay, it's wrong to use however. It's wrong to use thus. You have to use although or even though, in spite of, or despite. Okay, for although and even though, Okay, use although and even though. There is a grammar for that. You after although or even though you put you put subject plus verb. That's for although. Even though is slightly stronger. So if you use although or even though, after that immediately you put subject, I, we, he, she, it, plus verb. Okay, both of them you either use although or even though, both. But the thing is, even though for stronger, slightly stronger than the although. Even though stronger, slightly, a little bit stronger, for stronger. I enjoy the course, although. So here after that there is subject plus verb. Although I would have like more grammar practical. So this is you are comparing. You enjoy and you want more, to enjoy more. Okay, so this is contrast. You use one of these, although, even though, in spite or despite. But here there is subject plus verb. So you use either although or even though. Both are correct. You could use here even though, but because maybe you find out you like more practice. So what happen if you don't have more practice, more grammar practice? Will you stop enjoying? No, you will continue enjoying, but you will enjoy less. Okay, so it's not strong. If you are stop enjoying, you are going to use even though, because it's strong contrast. Okay, for contrast we use like. Okay, likely, similarly, something like that. So this is as a verb. Okay, the verb is we use with. Okay, now although we saw each other every day. Okay, although we saw each other every day, okay, we don't really know each other. Okay, so this is two contrast way. So you don't know each other, okay, but you saw each other every day. See here? So these are for although and even though. In spite and despite, see here, in spite and spite are placed in front of noun. So if you don't have subject and verb, if you have a noun or a pronoun, so you choose one of them, either in spite of or despite, whatever things. So you see these are programs, and this is other gaps or other exercise using although, even though, in spite, and how to use because and because of. This you could follow it. I explained just the slide before that. See here, this is because and because of. Because you are going to use it if there is a subject plus verb plus object. Because of, you are going to use noun. So you come here, see here, because and because of. So this is subject I, and verb had, and this one. So what you use? You should use because, not because of. Because if there is noun, so here the noise. See here, the noise. Because there is a noise, so you are going to use here because of. Why? Because there is a noun here. So I couldn't get sleep because of the noise. You cannot say because the noise. No, because of the noise, because there is a noun here. Due to the noun, that's make the use because of. Okay, same here. A lot of job. There is noun here, so you use because of. Here the roads were so crowded. So what do you want to use? Because or because of? I am going to leave this one for you. That's very easy. Just practice. Here, where you are going to use any, some, any, and some. So for negative or question, you are going to use any. So here, do you know some plumber? This is wrong. Why? Because this is a question. So it should be, the correction should be, do you know any plumbers? You cannot use some plumbers. Do you know some plumbers? It sounds nice. It sounds correct, but grammatically is wrong. So because the question you must to write it grammatically right, you must use any. It's wrong to use some. Okay. Here, he needs to make any friends. This is wrong because this is not. This is affirmative. So he needs to make some friends. So here some. Okay, and same for the rest. Just you have look at it. Okay. That's it for today lecture. As I mentioned, today will be the last lecture. I uploaded the question bank on Google Classroom last week. No, I think 2 days ago or yesterday. I already put it on Google Classroom. Please, all of you, have a look to Google Classroom. Look to today lecture. It's last lecture, and thus coming to the final. It have lots of general knowledge and one of the most important lectures. So definitely, there are lots of final question comes from this lecture. If you have any question, you might come to the class and ask me. However, there will be no class for tomorrow. There will be no class for tomorrow. This is the last lecture. If you have any question, you might come to the office later on and ask me. Either about question bank or about any question about the slides presentations which I explained. Thanks for listening, and I wish good luck in final exam for all of you. Thank you and bye.